What if every person you've ever loved was really just a reflection of you, a mirror? We grow up thinking love is something we find in someone else. But what if it actually begins with the person in the mirror? As a love and relationship coach, I've spent years listening to people tell me their stories, the heartbreaks, the almost, the forever after. And one truth became clear. Every relationship, the ones that heal us, the ones that break us, is a mirror showing us how much of ourselves we've learned to love. And my story is no different. I was always daddy's little girl, and one of my favorite games with my dad was playing hide and seek. I'd run through the house, my bare feet patting on the carpet, squealing with excitement. You'll never find me. And every time, every single time, he'd scoop me up in his arms and spin me around. In that moment, I didn't have to do anything to be loved. I was enough, just as I was. My dad's love wrapped around me like a warm, fuzzy blanket, safe and unconditional. What I didn't know then was that one day I'd spend years searching for that same feeling again in everyone else but myself. Somewhere along the way, the mirror began to crack. When I was 13, my aunt, self-proclaimed expert on absolutely everything, looked straight into my trusting eyes and in her big, booming voice, said the one thing that would define the way I loved for years. It's not about finding the one, it's about becoming the one. I felt like I'd been let in on the biggest secret about love, but I was mistaken. To me, becoming the one meant being perfect. So I took it as a challenge. Be the darling daughter, the easygoing girlfriend, the perfect partner. Shrink, edit, adjust until I fit whatever box made me more lovable. For years, I lived by that rule, believing that love had to be earned. But then one night, I found myself sitting alone at a restaurant, staring at the empty chair across from me. And in that chair sat every ghost of my relationship past. Heartbreak, betrayal, rejection, regret. I kept waiting for someone else to show up and fill that chair. When the truth was, I had stopped showing up for myself. That was the night I finally stopped looking through the glass and started looking into the mirror. And I began to notice a pattern. Every relationship I had ever been in was reflecting something back to me. The partners that made me feel unseen were showing me parts of myself that I was ignoring. The ones who made me feel not enough reflected my own self-doubt. And the ones who couldn't stay were teaching me how to be there for me. Like someone wiped the fog off the mirror, I finally saw myself clearly. That's when the story about them became the story about me. And the more I loved the reflection, with all its imperfect parts, the clearer I became to myself. It was not about finding the right person anymore. It was about becoming the kind of person who could give myself everything I was searching for in everyone else. That was the night I discovered what I now call the mirror effect of love. We think love is something we find, but it's actually something we reflect. The mirror effect of love unfolds through 3 stages of self-love, each one taking us deeper into awareness, healing, and acceptance. It's a process of seeing ourselves more clearly and loving all of it, one reflection at a time. Stage 1 is reflection, seeing what is. This is where self-love begins. We start to realize that how we see ourselves and what we think we deserve shapes our relationship. You don't attract who you want, you attract who you are. If you doubt your worth, you will keep finding people who confirm it. If you know you're enough, you will find love that honors that. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. You are already whole. It simply means your power lies in what you accept and what you choose next. The poet Rupi Kaur says it beautifully. How you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. Reflection is the stage of awareness where we begin to see the truth in the mirror, not to blame ourselves, but to understand ourselves better. And every relationship is a mirror, showing us how much of ourselves we've learned to love. Stage 2 is refraction, seeing through distortion. As we look a little deeper, the reflection isn't always clear. Our old wounds bend the light, distorting what we see and how we show up. Maybe love felt like walking on eggshells because you grew up not knowing what would set someone off. Maybe you chase attention because the only time you felt valued was when you achieved something. Or maybe you keep falling for people who won't stay because you learned young that love doesn't last. Refraction reveals how the past shapes the patterns we keep repeating. It shows us where we've been protecting ourselves instead of allowing ourselves to be loved. And when we finally see the pattern, we stop fighting the reflection and start healing what the mirror is trying to show us. And the more we love ourselves, the clearer every reflection becomes. Your work, your relationship, your life. And then comes stage 3, restoration, seeing through distortion. This is where the mirror steadies and the image comes back into focus. You start loving yourself as you are, without performance or perfection. You start meeting your own emotional needs, and the world around you shifts. Your relationships become calmer, kinder, and more grounded because you're no longer relating from lack, but from acceptance. And the more you love yourself, the clearer every relationship becomes. Your work, your relationship, your life. These 3 stages all start with the letter R, an easy way to remember: reflection, refraction, and restoration. Because self-love is a commitment you return to over and over again. A deepening from awareness to healing to acceptance. That's the mirror effect of love. Fix the mirror, not the image. Because the world will only ever see you as clearly as you love yourself. Science agrees. Attachment researchers tell us that our earliest bonds set the blueprint for what feels like love. Neuroscience shows our brains are wired to seek what's familiar and not what's healthy, which is why we keep repeating the patterns until we change the beliefs beneath them. And in physics, resonance explains it perfectly. Like attracts like. So whether you speak psychology, neuroscience, or physics, it's all the same truth. The love you attract will always rise or fall to the level of love you have for yourself. When I started loving the reflection with all its messy parts, I started to show up differently. I stopped begging for crumbs of affection because I was learning how to feed my own heart. I stopped waiting to be chosen because I started choosing myself. And that's when I met my husband. My aunt's words came back to me, but this time, the same words that once made me shrink now made me stand taller. Not because I found the one, but because I had become the one for myself. Same mirror, different reflection. The biggest mistake we make in love is believing that someone else will complete us. But love doesn't complete you, it reflects you. So here's my invitation. The next time someone disappoints you, don't ask, Why do they do that? Reflect instead. What is this showing me about how I love myself? What is this showing me about how I love myself? That's how you polish the mirror, not by trying to fix them, but by seeing yourself more clearly. Now imagine a world where we all took responsibility for our reflection. Fewer people blaming, projecting, expecting. More people owning, healing, celebrating. That's the world I want to live in, where love starts within and radiates outward. Because love really is an inside job. And when you finally see yourself in the mirror, you'll realize the love you've been searching for has been standing in front of you all along. Just look into the mirror.